right, everybody. I had to get a brand new DCU update today, and I cannot believe that they have James Gunn as the head of DC Studios. And after I show you a tweet he did today, I can't believe that they're letting this guy continue to be on Twitter and to belittle the fans. And if this isn't proof that they just do not care about fans, that they're in there for their own egos and they don't want to listen to anybody, they're calling everybody else toxic, and they're the ones throwing the shade at fans. And I think this is absolutely disgusting. So we're going to take a look at a few things that I have grabbed over the past day. First of all, I have a graphic here that kind of backs up something I was talking about yesterday. I'm going to address something that one of my viewers brought up. If you look at everything prior to Hamada taking over, and there are a few movies that are missing, but they don't have Justice League in here. Obviously, it's kind of in that in-between mark. They didn't have it in here. At any rate, it shows how much money, how much was grossed, not profit. Someone tried to come after me saying in my last graphic where I showed the Superman films that I was talking about profit, and I most certainly was not. It is about the gross versus, what it costs to make those films. The point of this graphic here is to show you that way more people were going to the theater for the DCU prior to Aquaman, meaning they loved everything that was being done. People were going into the seats. You could see that things went up. Obviously, Suicide Squad went down a little bit, but then it came back up with Wonder Woman and really peaked with Aquaman because people loved what they did. The fans were there. The general audience was there. And then we have this massive drop-off, okay? And Birds of Prey and Shazam had nothing to do with the pandemic. After that, yes, it did, which is going to affect them a little bit. But if you look at the home video sales for stuff like Suicide Squad, pitiful, absolutely pitiful. And that's a good indication as to how it was received by fans and by collectors. Someone tried to make the comment that these movies didn't profit very much, which could be true. But what you have to understand, and they even made the point in their post, which was kind of my point, that the merchandising has a lot to do with this. If you don't have the fans who are going to see this repeated, over repeated viewings, you're not going to sell merchandise either because they're not going to be excited. And the fact is, Man of Steel almost made its money back prior to it ever getting released in theaters because of merchandising. The Zack Snyder's stuff, like the toys I have, in my studio, sold like crazy. You can't get these figures. Most of these you can't get anymore. They're impossible to find, and they're going for a lot of money. The fact is, the interest was there, and it's gone because of the people that took over. The worst decision that the studio made was getting rid of Cavill, and that is a direct result of what happened between Black Adam and Shazam. They've got nobody to blame but themselves. Now, this was another thing that dropped today that I thought was ridiculous, and it's par for the course at this stage. I haven't read the Empire online article. Maybe I'll pull it up tomorrow and we can look at it, but it says exclusive that James Gunn talks a potential Marvel-DC crossover. He said, "I would be lying to say we haven't discussed it," he told Empire. That was their whole goal. This was not about making DC strong. This is going to be about a DC versus Marvel crossover, which I don't want to see as a fan. I want DC to thrive. I don't want to see them throw this universe together and then throw them in with Marvel. I've had it with Marvel. I think most people are bored with Marvel. They had a few great movies, but it hasn't been very good for a long time. And if they think this is going to drive people in there, I think they're just... It goes to show you that they have this agenda that's theirs, and they're not thinking about the fans at all. So here is the thing that really ticked me off today, and I can't believe that he's allowed to go out there and do this stuff. So he's still out there on Twitter putting DC EU fans down. Now, I don't know this person. I don't know if they're a Snyder fan or not, but it's not just the Snyder fans. It's not just the DCEU fans or just the general audience fans, but a lot of people are upset that Cavill was let go. And that was James Gunn's fault, okay? Because he was back. The studio shared his stuff. He was definitely back. He might not have had a contract yet, but the studio had him back, and they used him as a toy to sell as many tickets to Black Adam as they could. And then James Gunn comes in, within a month and then just totally does away with him. This person said, I miss Henry Cavill. James Gunn tells this individual he still exists. What a freaking ass to do this to the fans. There's no other way to put it. What is he trying to accomplish with this? So let's talk about this here. You talk about being toxic. I can't believe that he's out there doing this. Who is he trying to win favor with? You've already pissed everybody off for getting rid of Cavill. You've pissed off way more than just the Snyder fans. You pissed off, like I said, the general audience. You've pissed off just DC EU fans in general. They've now lost interest of everything DC because of what James Gunn did. They talk about everybody else being toxic. What do you call that? And he is the face of DC Studios. You have got to be kidding me. Boy, this is getting crazy. And there are people out there championing this. They're saying this is great that he's doing this. He's putting people in their place. That's not what he's supposed to be doing. And Warner Brothers Discovery is stupid for having him the head of the studio and allowing him to go out there and do stuff like this. It doesn't help them in any way, shape, or form. It's just making people more upset, and that's going to keep them from earning more money. I am now pretty much sure that they put him in there for an ulterior motive. I think it is. I think he was put in there to champion this DC Marvel crossover, that it was never about making DC strong. I think there's an end game to this that isn't anything that anybody wanted, and they put him in charge. Like, this is getting crazier by the day. That comment, you don't do that to the fans, especially the ones that are upset, because you want to bring those people back in to be interested in the movies and buy merchandise. That's not how you do it. All right, so what do you guys think about these recent tweets and things that are going on out there? I just don't know what to think anymore with this. Like, every day I'm getting more and more just disgusted at what they're doing. Like, how can anybody be okay with this? How can the studio be okay with it? I do not get it. All right, we will see you guys on the next update.